Вітаю вас, шановні глядачі, на українській телемережі «Контакт». Сьогодні наш гість Клаудіо Кавальканте Junior із Бразилії, де в Ріо де Жанейро він викладав антропологію та філософію в університеті міста Парана до 2018 року. А з того часу Клаудіо пише докторську дисертацію на тему антропології, а саме вивчаючи українські громади в Бразилії, їхні відносини з їхнім бразилійським урядом, а також вплив війни в Україні на громади в Бразилії. Клаудіо є великим прихильником України, як він себе називає, Ukrainian activist. І сьогодні ми хочемо познайомити вас із Клаудіо Кавальканте Junior, а також дізнатися, що він вивчив про українські громади в Бразилії. Hello, Claudio. Nice to have you with us.
Very nice to stay with you. Thanks.
Claudio, recently our reporter Dennis Charlai visited Brazil and brought us many reports, many stories from Brazilian life of Ukrainian Brazilians in Brazil, but you were not able to meet with him because geographically it wasn't possible. So I would like to add our interview to the collection of these stories from Brazil, especially that you can explain to us better and you can tell us about your findings, what you're working on in your dissertation, Ukrainians in Brazil. So let's start from telling our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Rio de Janeiro, but as you said, but I live in Paraná for almost 15 years. I used to work here as a teacher at university, as you said, and now I'm not working as a teacher. I'm just studying at the same university, and I find out this amazing Ukrainian community with lots of activities, religious activities at Greek Catholic Church, and also with dance, aircraft, the Ukrainian aircraft like Pesanka, like embroidery, and the cuisine also, and the cuisine too. So I find out this amazing Ukrainian activities here. There's a lot of Ukrainian activities, and where you can find amazing old Ukrainian church.
This is the oldest Ukrainian church in Brazil, built in 1903. It's a Greek Catholic Church, St. Michael Church. Here rests in peace Father Nikon. He was a Ukrainian priest. He died in 1906, and he built this amazing church. We can see here some information about him.
Maybe some towns, real small, that they have a lot of Ukrainian activity.
We can see here the Orthodox cross, which is uncommon among Ukrainian Greek Catholic Ukrainian Church, Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church in Brazil. Here is written família. Família is Portuguese, means Rudina Bullock, the name of this family. And here we have some information about who were buried here in Ukrainian, very old tombstone, 1939. Mikola Bullock e Paulina Bullock.
Some of the towns like Prudentopolis, like Malé, like Paulo Frontin, almost all population have Ukrainian background. There's a lot of Ukrainian activities. I can't see other community, ethnic community in Brazil with so many activities as Ukrainian. have. So the identity related to the religious institution like a Greek Catholic Church, it's a real strong. It's the base of Ukrainian identity in Brazil, and the arts and the cultural activities. It's another kind of expression of this being Ukrainian in Brazil. It could be a title for the thesis to being Ukrainian in Brazil, because the base is the religious. One of the expression is the cultural, and with the war, people used to ask me, and what they think about the war. But well, they are not very engaged, I might say. So it's to think about Ukrainian nowadays. We think about politics, we think about war, and there is no war here. Just religion, just culture, just dance, and just cuisine.
How big is the Ukrainian community in Brazil today?
The leaders used to estimate it about 500,000 or 600,000. Most of all are descended, 32nd, even fourth generation born in Brazil.
When Ukrainians started to come to Brazil?
1891, and the motivation was the same of Canada. They searched for land. They searched for land. They were pleasant from Halicena. So it was in Brazil, in Canada, in Argentina too. They come searching for land.
So they came in waves, as you said, same as Canada. Started
Yeah.
in end of 1800s, and then First World War, Second World War,
Interwar.
interwar in between. Okay, what makes
Yes.
Ukrainian in Brazil Ukrainian?
A strong link with religion, with Greek Catholic Church. They are in space, a delimited space in Brazil, in the state of Paraná, region of Curitiba, capital of state of Paraná, south of Paraná, where I'm right now, center south of Paraná, where is Prudentopolis, 200 kilometers from here, and also north of Santa Catarina state. So there is a small community next to the capital of the state of Rio Grande do Sul, extreme south of Brazil. Also a community in São Paulo. The Ukrainians in Rio de Janeiro don't have organized institutions. As Dennis discovered, he discovered some Ukrainians in Rio de Janeiro, but they are immigrants. They come after the rehabilitation of the Ukrainian state after the end of the Soviet Union. So it's very different than here, or Curitiba, where they are descended of immigrants from Ukraine, above all Western Ukraine, Halicena, from Lviv, from Ternopil. Lots come from the what is today Ternopil, when was part of the Habsburg Empire, the Austrian-Hungary Empire.
You mentioned that in Rio de Janeiro, the Ukrainian community doesn't have organizations. What about
Yes.
in other parts of Brazil? How do they organize themselves?
The church, the religious institute, not just the church, but also seminars to graduate to the graduation of their own fathers. There is also the women, the religious among women religious sisters, like the servants of Immaculate Conception, catechists. So and there is also the clubs. There is also the civil associations, like Ukrainian Society in Brazil, which has a very old, centenary civil society. Today, they are focused on cultural activities in Curitiba. Also in Curitiba, there are also another civil associations like Club Poltava Club in English, which is associated, which is linked to the cathedral, St. John Cathedral, the head square of the Greek Catholic Church in Brazil. Also TPU, which is Sociedade dos Amigos da Cultura Ucraniana, also a civil association founded after the Second World War. Today they have not so many, they don't have activities actually today. In São Paulo, there is also a civil association called Sociedade Ucraniana Unificação. Unification Society, Ukrainian Society, founded after the Second World War. Because in São Paulo, the Ukrainians are descended of Osabaita, which comes from Brazil after the Second World War. Ukrainians from Halichina, above all Halichina, but also other parts of Ukraine. During the Second World War, they go to German. They were prisons. Go to German to work as a worker, to work for the Germans. Yes, for workers. And after the Second World War, they come to America, to Australia, and most of all in São Paulo are descended of Ostabikers.
Like next generation, like third, fourth generation Ukrainians in Brazil, do they preserve the language?
It depends. It depends. You know, in Prudentopolis, Danes could talk to you in Ukrainian in the supermarket with the cashier, with the lady on the line, speaking homemade Ukrainian, might say, because most of them learn Ukrainian at home. So in countryside, in some places like Prudentopolis, like Malé, like cities of Rio Azul, some families preserve the language at home. Most of all now speak both when they can speak. When they can speak Ukrainian, they speak also Portuguese. It's really rare when they speak just Ukrainian. I read a PhD dissertation about alphabetization of Ukrainian in Ukrainian child with a Ukrainian descendant in Prudentopolis. It was the search was taken 14 years ago, so 2010, and in a class with I think 14 children, 2 children just speak Ukrainian. But they were from Prudentopolis, countryside of Prudentopolis, a colonia, as we said here, and they could speak Portuguese, just Ukrainian. And they don't speak Portuguese because the families were very poor. They don't have a radio or a TV at home. So what looks like at first vision, what we see as a cultural capital, it was a product of the poverty of these families. They don't have even TV or a radio at home, so they can't speak anything in Portuguese. The children have 7 years old.
What are the relations between Ukrainians in Brazil and the Brazilian government?
Most at the cities where most of the population have Ukrainian descendant in Brazil, south of Brazil, they vote for Bolsonaro last election. So they are right wing, but not just the Ukrainians. Here in south of Brazil, many other ethnic communities. Germans, Italians, in Paraná, lots of Poles, and they all against the government of Lula da Silva. So they are right wing because they are very conservative, and this population are too linked to the agriculture and the the former government of the former Bolsonaro government has a real strong link with the agricultural population which works on agriculture. The richest and the poorest. For instance, Prudentopolis is not a rich town. Many persons work on planting beans, which doesn't make much money to them. It's not like soil, which is a source of richness in some parts of Brazil. So they are usually against the government. They are usually support of the former President Jair Bolsonaro.
This phenomenon of the Ukrainian language as official in the town of Prudentopolis, how did this happen and how is this practiced?
Well, as I said, usually the language is teaching and learned at home and at religious institutions. Even the former seminar of San Jose nowadays is a college. They don't have a course in Ukrainian language. Some public schools, it happens in some public schools, but that's foreign language. So at some institution, at Sobotna Shkola, they used to have Sobotna Shkola at the parish. They learn a little bit Ukrainian in Prudentopolis, and in 2021, the city council voted to turn the Ukrainian language a co-official language, because in Brazil, the official language is Portuguese. In the whole country, Portuguese is the official language. So the cities, the municipalities, or the towns can vote to become some language practiced in this space as a second language, as a co-official language. So Prudentopolis turned Ukrainian language second co-official language in 2021, and Malé in next to not so far from Prudentopolis, about 100 kilometers from Prudentopolis, where 6% of population has Ukrainian descendant, also become Ukrainian, and also Polish language, a co-official language. But the public schools doesn't have a plan to put the language on the calendar. And I talked to a friend who works at the city hall in Prudentopolis. He told me the unique difference nowadays. After 3 years, they don't. The city hall just produced some plaques to city, and also some folders, some for tourism with. Yes, with text with Ukrainian language. So it's they don't have money. Actually, they don't have money to planning better the development of Ukrainian language in Prudentopolis or even Malé.
Is it known how many newcomers Brazil received since full invasion started in 2022?
Almost a thousand, about 900 refugees. They received a special status as refugees, as Ukrainian refugees, which was given to them exactly when they come to Brazil. A new law was voted in Brazil, and that started at the beginning of the full-scale invasion. There was some restriction for this kind of Ukrainian refugees. For instance, they can't ask for a regular refugee status in Brazil. But after the first year of the full-scale invasion, almost all leave Brazil, And they come back to Europe. Some go to Poland, some go to Germany, Spain, Ireland, even Ukraine. Even some come back to go back to Ukraine.
Can you name some Brazilian Ukrainians which became prominent figures in the Brazilian society?
Generally, when we talk about Ukrainian Brazil, it's usual talk about seated important persons like Clarice Lispector, a writer, a Brazilian writer, born in Ukraine, in Venezia, but she was Jewish. And many of the prominent Ukrainian Brazilian were Jewish. So if we're talking generally Ukrainian, we can talk about Clarice Lispector, Luciano Huck, Brazilian TV show presenter. They come to Ukraine. He interviewed the President Zelensky. And he come to the village where his grandparents were born in, I think was Brody or next to Brody, Lviv. So he has many of the Brazilian Ukrainians are actually Jewish. But you can tell me, President of Ukraine is also Jewish. He's still Ukrainians. So there are some politicians, both of here in Paraná. The first generation of the sons of Ukrainians became important politicians in Paraná, like Pedro Firma. And I have also a book here that some years ago, Emílio Galdeda, a kind of Ukrainian intellectual, but just among the community. He's actually a retired former social server with a university degree that start to write about the Ukrainian community to the Ukrainian community. He wrote this book called Heróis Não Morrem. Heroes doesn't die. It's a book with articles of Ukrainian Brazilians. The Ukrainian Brazilians, ethnic Ukrainian Brazilians, are multi-family among Paraná society. They are not so famous in Brazil. So we have, for instance, Miguel Bacum, which was to be a painter, but he's famous just in Curitiba, in Paraná. I come from Rio de Janeiro. I have never heard about him. And among some intellectuals, we have Oksana Buroshenko, which was Ukrainian ethnic. She was. I discovered writing my dissertation. I discovered Oksana Buroshenko was born in Warsaw, but her parents were from Halychina, Ukrainians. She was Greek Catholic. She was Ukrainian ethnic. So that's a difficult question. And to anthropologists, what kind of a Ukrainian ethnic, somebody with some kind of Ukrainian roots, because Jewish communities has Ukrainian. Many of the Jewish people has Ukrainian roots.
Definitely, these two nations are intertwined. Thank you for such an interesting insight into the lives of Ukrainians in Brazil. We wish you all the best with your defense and becoming a PhD professor. And hopefully we will have you again on our program.
Дуже дякую.
Дякую. Шановні глядачі, з нами на зв'язку був Claudio Cavalcante Junior із Бразилії, який зараз пише дисертацію на тему «Українці у Бразилії». Thank you, Claudio. Слава Україні!
Герой слава!